Paul, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for failure-driven development. Software development habits haven't caught up to cheap compute. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk to us a little bit about yourself, about who you are and where you're based, and what your book is about and who it's for.
I live in Toronto. I was a software consultant, owned a small consulting uh, company for about 40 plus years. What I learned was how to juggle trying to extract enough information out of clients who needed astounding changes to their software uh, versus using astounding developers who could actually deliver what my clients actually needed once we figured out what they needed. In general, I find the types of programming languages and tools that we have today are not geared towards that type of activity. They're geared towards what I call production engineering. And the whole design aspect at the front, which sometimes gets called requirements engineering, requirements gathering, or agile, stuff like that, that doesn't really go very quickly. And we fall back on things like continuous deployment, CD, which is basically a ticket to deliver buggy designs as well as buggy code. But we're trying to get rid of the buggy code. We haven't been trying hard enough to get rid of buggy designs. And basically, I think that failure is the best way to learn. And as a consultant, one thing I learned is every time I thought I understood a domain, it turned out to be way more complicated than I expected, and that I was learning something new everywhere along the way. And that, committing too early to a design and committing too early to code was essentially fatal.
So I really like the idea of the book. It's very provocative. I'm going to touch on that in a moment. But the first question I have is, where does the failure come in? So if you're at if you're still at the design phase, where does the failure happen that then allows you to
Um,
improve?
it's like when I used to build little electronic gadgets. I would prototype them on a breadboard.
Okay.
Some designs would work the way I expected. A lot of them didn't work the way I expected. I had to tweak them, and that tweaking is the failure. And working on a breadboard allowed you to back up and change your mind, whereas working on type systems and theorem provers and stuff like that uh, discourages you from changing your mind.
And
You,
and cheap compute is in the subtitle. So I think a lot of people is sort of in software development, and a lot of managers who resent having to use computers or have people who use computers underneath them hope that cheap compute means like I can just throw anything I want out there, and if I run into a problem, the programmers can fix it. But you seem to be saying the opposite, which is sort of that's one of the things I said that's kind of provocative about your book.
Yeah, I think what's happened is we've developed computers that are very powerful, um, but we want to deliver smaller, cheaper computers like gaming systems to end users. In the process, we should be using our powerful development systems to help us speed up our turnaround time and our ability to port big ideas down to small machines.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. So now I get to the really provocative part. So I've had people on the podcast and on launch videos before on Leanpub, like Dave Farley and stuff like that. So I was interested to come across this line at the beginning of your book where you said, "Who is this book for?" And you said, "A goal should be to have zero defects in the field and to not need to rely on continuous delivery that uses customer complaints and customer bug reports and customer design improvement suggestions as a way to slowly iterate the design." Now, I'm sure that, Dave or someone like that would say that's not what continuous delivery is, but I know what you mean, and I know you know what you mean by that. Um, and I mean, one thing that I find really compelling about the idea is expressed there is that I think, you know, in the old days, You know, you used to get, you know, your software on a disk, and it worked. It couldn't improve. It couldn't get better overnight like a Tesla magically does, or better, like put that in quotation marks for whoever's listening. But 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 it worked, and it did what it said in the huge manual that might come with it. And a common thing that I've encountered 5 times already today using my computer is little things that don't work.
Right.
This is just all the time. And like, you know, and Leanpub, to any Leanpub kind of authors and users, I'm sorry, please contact us about any issues that you have when you showed at the screen at Leanpub too. But that is a common, is that one of the things that you're trying to encourage people
Uh,
to not do, and say, like, we've got all this powerful, we've got 80 years of programming behind us. We've got computers that are more powerful than ever before, available to us for cheaper than ever before. That's only going to improve. Why do we have anything that's sort of, why is the experience of using software products frustrating? And is it because people just rely on responding to bugs instead of designing first?
yeah, it's the standing on the shoulders of giants. The giants of the 1960s were solving different problems that we have today. And so standing on their shoulders isn't giving us better solutions to the problems of today. I grew up building hardware, and that's how I got into software. When I built hardware, I felt my designs would work when I was happy with the bench testing. I've never felt that way with software, or actually I did once, but our business, we had a product that had 0 defects in the field. We didn't need to update, we didn't need to change the code. And then due to business reasons, the product got canceled. The usual story.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been growing features faster than we can actually handle them. You know, my mother was in a retirement home and she liked to play Tetris. And I kept thinking, wouldn't it be nice that if she could go to Radio Shack and buy a $7.95 Tetris handheld instead of spending thousands of dollars on a laptop
Right.
and 2FA and
Yeah.
all the other
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
that's crept in.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. I know what you're talking about. Uh, the last question I have for you, my joke that I always say to guests before we start recording is it goes against my nature to have short conversations, but that's what these launch videos are for, just to give you a taste of the book. But the book is currently marked at 21% complete on its landing page, and I was just wondering, you're publishing it in progress. That's great. It's already 100 pages, so definitely worth buying now to anyone watching. But do you have a plan for, you know, your releases until it's complete?
I actually plan to approach it in the failure-driven development manner.
Ah,
So I used Ghost AI to lay out, give me a backbone for what I wanted to do, to talk about. And I expect to spiral into what the final version of the book will be. Hopefully I'll get emails from early readers telling me what they want to see more of and less of. I think the answer is they want to see more of, you know, how do I do this? Whereas I've been explaining what's wrong, and that doesn't suggest a solution.
I see. Yeah, no, that's great. So for anyone watching who wants to know how to contact Paul about the book, there's a feedback little section. There's a button that says email the author on the book landing page. So it's very easy to contact Paul with feedback about the book. The book is Failure Driven Development: Software Development Habits Haven't Caught Up to Cheap Compute. Thank you very much, Paul, for taking the time to do this video with me today. And thank you very much for choosing Leanpub as the platform for your book. And good luck with the feedback and the future chapters.
Thank you very much.